G'day legends, and I'm going to talk about the Canelo versus Crawford card, boxing in general compared to the UFC. Now, if you're a boxing fan listening to this, my name is Dougie. I make MMA videos. I'm a massive MMA fan, and, because the UFC, is owned by TKO, and TKO and Riyadh Season together were the ones sort of spearheading this event, this massive event, Canelo versus Crawford. We had John Anik there, someone who has become a veteran voice of the UFC Octagon. Dana White was hosting the press conference. Our favorite Chad translator was in the ring. Bloody Terence Crawford walked out to Ilya Tapiria's walkout song. And the MMA world was drawn very closely to the boxing world this week. And in fact, TKO set it up so that we could go from UFC Noche and then jump straight into Canelo versus Crawford and actually experience boxing as well. And I have got to say, as someone who has been an avid MMA fan ever since Conor McGregor slept Jose Aldo and has recently really got it into boxing, I have really fallen in love with boxing in the last year and a half. I've been watching more and more boxing events. Bare knuckle boxing events, because bare knuckle is fun. But this is one of the rare times that I sat down and watched a boxing card. We finished UFC Noche. We got to see a boxing card presented by the TKO group, Dana White, on Netflix. And I have to say, boxing is one of the worst goddamn sports in the world. My God, is that boring. What the hell are people thinking talking about boxing? That is a god-awful, terrible sport for a combat sports fan to watch. Now, there is so much pomp and circ. There are so many things that are wrong with what we saw over the weekend at Canelo versus Crawford. And it all really starts with just where boxing sees itself in the combat sports buffet that we have. We have the UFC, we have PFL, we have regional MMA, we have kickboxing, we have combat jiu-jitsu, we have bare knuckle boxing, we have 4-ounce Muay Thai. And for some reason, out of all of these things that exist in the combat sports world, I mean, there's bloody Lethwei out there as well. Have you seen Lethwei? It's insane. But boxing holds itself at such this high regard sport because it has been the king of the mountain for the longest time. And it still just sits there for hours, wafting in the smell of its own rotting corpse, trying to convince you that no, that isn't the smell of rot and decay. That is just, you're just not refined enough to appreciate what is coming at you. 7.5 hours is what it took to get through 8 fights. 3 of the fights ended in 4 rounds. 3 of the fights were 6 rounds or less, and it continued to drag on and on and on. And this was presented to us by a company that knew that boxing events drag on and on and on. There is a famous quote of Dana White saying, "There is no need to do a podcast between fights." The amount of shit that I was able to get done. While this boxing card was going on my second screen. I genuinely started off being like, I might just stay live the entire time. I was doing my live stream for the UFC. The boxing card started and I was like, I'll just stay live the entire time. 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I gave it a genuine go. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not sitting around watching them in these oversized gloves just pepper jabs at each other. Maybe every now and then there's a body shot. And this fight goes on for half an hour. And then for some reason, there's another 45 minutes from belt to belt. By the time the next fight starts, there's another 45 minutes. We in the MMA world are bloody spoiled. We scream bloody murder when there's a first round finish. And we all laugh around like, I guess we got to wait half an hour for the next fight to start because we assumed there was going to be 2 rounds, then a post-fight press conference, and then the start package for the next fight. Dude, even when the whole boxing card is running and it's all decisions, it's still somehow 45 minutes, half an hour. And we were so lucky with the UFC Noche card because there were so many fights on that card, they were pumping through them. And this was meant to be a standout event for Riyadh Season TKO Zuffa Boxing. This was meant to be a fully stacked card. If this is a fully stacked card, oh my God. And so much time is talked about what is the relevancy of hundreds of years of all this boxing history. You know what? It reminds me a lot of, say, an Israel Adesanya walkout or a Brian Ortega walkout when he was coming out to Alexander Volkanovski. There is just something here where there needs to be so much going on around the fight to help draw in some interest. And what it is, it's a fog of war. It's a fireworks show. It's all just, hey, look at this distraction. You know, remember Ali versus Frazier and bloody, they're going through the wall of phenomenal boxing fights that have happened in the past, and they're scanning around the arena and they're going, God, look at the Las Vegas stadium that we're in. Isn't all of this wonderful and amazing? Because it's meant to distract you from the fact that by the time the bell goes and they actually start throwing hands at each other, fucking nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. And I've heard this before from the guys in MMA where it's just this boring ass wrestling match. Like, you don't understand the intricacies of what's going on, man. Fuck you. Okay, it's a combat sport, bro. It's a combat sport. I'm a blue collar worker. Yeah, I work at 7 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. on a fucking building site all week long, 5, sometimes 6 days a week. When I sit down and watch combat sports on the weekend, heaven forbid I want to see a little bit of fucking blood in the combat sport. You know what I mean? Instead of just... Oh, did you see that body shot? He threw a body shot once in half an hour. Fuck off. And no one there gives a fuck. No one there it's like just a celebrity show. The whole arena. You would say like, oh yeah, hardcore boxing fan, they want to be there the entire time. Dude, the arena is empty up until the main event. Even the back row, I can understand the front couple of rows. They're empty because that is just that's just a place for celebrities to go, get a selfie, update their social media, say they went out. Oh man, I put this massive bet down. It's not even my money. It's sponsored by a gambling company. I get that for the first few rows, but the back few rows, that's meant to be where all the hardcore fans are. How come that's still fucking empty until the main event? Like, are there hardcore fans of boxing? Who is this for? Then the fight happens. Nothing happens during the fight. It's a half an hour fight. Nothing is happening at all. Just, this is meant to be, right? Canelo. Someone who has been apparently a completely unified champion for like 7 years or something. Again, I'm not a boxing fan, right? But this is the hype that is going into this. Canelo, completely unified, got all the belts that you can get. Yeah, for like 7 years, he's been at the top of the mountain, and here comes Bud Crawford, and he's been chasing Canelo down for 3 years. Yeah, by the time the fight, like, this is the maximum fight. This is as good as it can get. Let's have a look. And this, by the way, on a card where you've had Dana White's Callum Walsh, and you've had all these other like up and comers, and you got this like contender series sort of thing happening for Zuffa Boxing. Like, this is the card that all this is built upon. Why don't we go and look for some highlights? Why don't we go and look for some highlights of this 7.5 hour event? What can we get out of this 7.5 hour event? That's a punch. All right. That is the same punch. That's the same punch. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's a highlight. Let's have a look at this. What's this? Yeah, 23 set. This must be massive. Jeez, look at the way he gets out of the way and nothing lands. Oh, that's phenomenal. Oh, look at him hit the guard. Isn't that crazy? Whoa, jeez, watch him hit the guard there. Okay. What's it? Oh, yep. All right, cool. That got him. Jeez, that really frustrated him. Oh, look at him work the body. Isn't that? This is intense here. Oh my God, they're going crazy. This is wild. Oh, look at this. Look at this going crazy. Madness. Oh, what an ending to the fight. Spectacular after half an hour. Okay. Other highlight. What do we got? Oh, body shot. Jeez, massive body shot. And those pillow gloves. That must hurt. Nope, that's the exact same one we saw before. Is there anything else from any of the other 7.5 hours? Are there any other highlights from the other 7.5 hours? Are there any other highlights from any of the is this from the prelims? Is this from the prelims? Was there something massive that happened on the prelims? Oh, wow, I nearly hit the body there. That's crazy. Oh my God, imagine if that had actually landed on the body. Isn't that intense? That's not from the card. That's not from the card. Here we go. Oh, no, that's the exact same shot. This was the highlight, is it? Is this the best that we can come up with? This seems like this is the best shot that we can come up with for 7.5 hours. You don't even want to see. If you are just a boxing fan, you probably shouldn't watch MMA. Because if this is the shot of the fight, to sell their 7.5 hour, 3 years of anticipation super fight. You do not want to see an MMA fight, brother. No wonder people were calling for the sport to be cancelled. This was the highlight of combat sports 35 years ago. No wonder they wanted MMA to be cancelled, mate. And then after all this, the belts. They literally cover Terence Crawford in belts. Like, he puts on like 10 belts. It's ridiculous. I'm amazed that the ring just didn't give out underneath him and he fell through it. There was that much metal on him. There is so much self-flagellation involved in this sport that is so basic and boring to watch. You can call it a chess match all you want, but I am sure that there is intense intricacies when it comes to the golfer figuring out the perfect putt. I'm really sure there is. Watching a grandmaster play pool, I'm sure he is doing some insane calculations in his head. When a GP motocross racer is being able to thread the needle and turn the corners without skidding off the road and having that motorbike kill him, I am sure that is intense. A cricketer being able to stand there while a 160-kilometer ball of concrete is coming dead set at his face and having the tenacity to know where to flick it to make sure that it goes into the field between the two fielders takes an incredible level of concentration while there is a cannonball coming at you to kill you. I am not saying that it is not skillful, but compared to BKFC, compared to dirty boxing, compared to one championship 4-ounce more, the amount of combat sports out there, karate fucking combat, that are so much fun, boxing is a joke. And the fact that they get to charge that much money when so many other combat sports athletes around the world kill themselves and entertain us. We have fights at an empty fucking warehouse at the UFC that are 10 times more fun than anything that was on that Canelo versus Crawford card. Anything at all. There's no fucking way they deserve to get paid that much. There's just no... It's insane that they get paid that much to do that little in there and have the entire boxing community just sniff their own farts and jack themselves off. Boxing is a joke. It's a joke. The whole sport is a joke. Compared to the rest of combat sports, even compared to combat jiu-jitsu, boxing is a boring joke. I get it. There's going to be hardcore fans out there that are disgusted, but this is how MMA fans feel about watching that embarrassment of a sport. It's a joke. It really is, man. Yes, your fighters get paid more than our do. That must be money laundering. That must be why everyone knows don't let a boxing fight go to the judges, because there's going to be some bullshit with the judging. Like, your judging system is so fucking broken, it's a meme. It took a Saudi billionaire to actually get boxing moving to have the fighters actually fight each other, because they all just call themselves the best and were ducking each other for years. Francis Ngannou rocked up out of the UFC and just beat the shit out of Tyson Fury like that. And it took also Jake Paul, like a celebrity YouTuber, to bring any sort of interest back to the sport. The sport's a joke. The entire sport is a joke. And quite frankly, I hope Dana White does us MMA fans a favor and gets out of here and stops ruining our sport, because he doesn't care anymore, and goes and chases his childhood dream of saving boxing. But the problem with saving boxing is that sport can't be fixed. Watching people pat away at each other in giant pillowcases for 7.5 hours is goddamn boring. And maybe there was one fight like 1,000 years ago, like, man, you should have seen that war. Empty warehouse prelims fights are guaranteed to be more fun than that. Here is how you fix boxing. Have no more than 15 minutes between fights, bell to bell. Speed that shit up. Slim down the glove size to 4 ounces. Muay Thai figured this out already. And 5 3-minute rounds. That's it. That's how you fix boxing. All this other self-flagellation, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. TKO is not going to bring over MMA fans to watch that trash. Oh, you just don't get the intricacies. You don't get I get the intricacies. I might not understand them, but I get that it's intricate. That doesn't make it entertaining. Darts isn't entertaining. It's fucking boring. Your combat sport is boring. That's an MMA fan's take on boxing. Anyway, If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Dougie. I make an MMA video every single day of the week. This is what happens when MMA is set up by an MMA. This is what happens when an MMA company encourages its fans to go and watch boxing. Never again. Let me know what you think about all that down there in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you're one of the bloody legends of the channel that's always liking and supporting and subscribing and commenting, buying each other memberships, gifting memberships, buying your own memberships, your names are up on the next page for being one of the bloody legends and the best pickers on the Dougie's Corner live stream community. Your names are up on the next slide. We've changed the rules because Help Me figured out a way to rank squat. You've got to pick every single men's fight for the last 3 weeks running in a row. You can't skip out particular cards thinking that this card is going to be hard to pick. If you want to call yourself one of the best pickers on Dougie's Corner, you got to rock up and actually pick every single men's fight every single week, at least the last 3 weeks in a row. Cheeky. The Scottish, trying to get around the system as the Scottish usually do. Bloody criminals, mate. That's why they need the English to keep them in check. Bloody criminals, the Scots are. Anyways, that's it. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have yourselves a great night or a great day wherever you are. Goodbye.